to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of simple popping it like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move and a pencil. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up if we winning and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and painting is never the
What's happening, everybody? It's Divots and Pivots here Tuesday night, as always brought to you by Acorn Hills, acornhillscode.com. Get over there, use the discount code TBFY15 for your discount, courteous of this Bud's for you over here, Bud Copeland. So get over there, use that discount code, and support Nate and the boys over at Acorn Hills. What I don't know why you're always laughing at me. You're always laughing.
It is very courteous. It is very courteous.
Very courteous.
Courtesy.
If you guys couldn't tell, I don't write a script for how I open the show. I don't plan it. It's whatever comes out of my mouth, and then Bud gets us on track and we roll.
What fucking track is that? I don't know if you can tell. We are not in Witch City Studios right now, so no guarantees on the Wi-Fi here. But we've got TGL on the big screen. Let's see. What were we at? We're still a tie ball game.
So it's hole 7. It's 0-0. Still only one hammer's been thrown. This has been the story of tonight, which they've talked about so far on the broadcast.
Yeah, let's get right into it. TGL is the story of the moment, and then we'll get into the golf news of the week. Let's do this.
Yes. Yeah. Each team so far has missed at least one. I think maybe even two for each team. Birdie putt opportunities to win a hole. So that's been the story tonight. And they haven't missed them by much. They've been close, but this has got all the makings of a real nail biter, especially after last night's match 1 that Atlanta took down with the last, I guess you can call it a comeback. They were down 4-2 with three holes left to play. So yeah, you call that a comeback. And Billy Horschel was fired up last night. And that's for all the talk that we said we weren't sure how necessarily that we thought the guys might go out there and have fun. We weren't sure how serious they would take at the beginning of all this. We have been proven that these guys just enjoy being competitive. I think it's equivalent to you and I, playing a board game or something. We just want to win sometimes, and I think that they're out there. It's golf for them. They're gonna win. They want to win. They're competitive about it. Because Billy Horschel last night, the fist pumps, the screaming after one of his hole tying putts. Yikes. It's fantastic. It's electric.
Boogie.
It's just good. I know you said it's not like must watch TV for you yet. Like you enjoy it for what it is, but like for me, I'm sorry. Like for me, I tune in.
No, I'm into it.
Finish every match.
I'm into it. I'm into it. And I think it's last night kind of got me off the fence onto the right side of it. You were pointing out Billy Horschel fist pumping. And I think I said it before. When I saw him come out with the bling, the chain, the whole thing, I was like, this is it. This is where maybe this has been him all along, but he's just been playing the straight guy on the square on the PGA Tour. And so this is his setting. And you're right. The reason these guys are these guys and we're who we are, though, is because they're competitive. It's kind of like the old video of Michael Jordan losing. Have you ever seen the video of Michael Jordan losing in a game of like quarters or whatever? He's chucking quarters against one of his security guards.
The guy with
one of the security
curly
people.
Blonde hair, right?
Yeah. And then Key and Peele did a spoof off of it. That's legit.
He also had a roaring gambling problem. So
if it wasn't this, you don't think these guys have a roaring gambling problem?
100%.
They just have it. They have it contained. They know how to channel it. They talk about the only way to keep that edge when they're not playing week in, week out is to play money games. And some of the hardest matches they have might be these practice rounds or these money games on the side. Now that said, TGL, I'm rooting for. So if for what is it? ATL up 1-0. You saw, but who's the owner of the Falcons? Arthur Blank. Yeah. Which Matt Ryan, anytime he got a mic in front of him, he can't help but absolutely praise the guy. He's a great ambassador for NFL. Good to know that. They just showed him because he's obviously a part owner of this Atlanta team. And the look on his face when JT lipped out that putt, you're right. These people are competitors. It is entertaining, but the entertainment is the competition, and it has to mean something. And I think that's why I'm glad to see that they're sweating it out. It's going to mean something more. The more we do this, the more it'll mean, it takes time to build, but they're building on a legacy that already exists. And I use that word legacy because Brandel Chambly this week, and we're going to do a quick hard pivot from TGL into Live because it just was perfect.
Why not?
These guys, this whole TGL creation was built inside the PGA Tour ecosphere. They used existing kind of elements and, put it all together instead of trying to, and I can hear people chirping already. Yeah, really easy. Try creating something from scratch. Liv did that. And just because something is new, from scratch, fresh, different, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, doesn't automatically mean that it's going to work out. And we're seeing that right now with the death of Liv. Brandel Chambly, once again, the great philosopher he is. I know people like to hate on him, but guys write a lot more than he's wrong. He pointed out that it's because nobody's playing for legacy. And you got these three guys who got into the Open Championship. Good for them. The top three finishers, I think, are your boy Patrick Reed was number 2, sandwiched in there with Kokrak and somebody else. Sergio missed out, lipped out a putt there. See, you didn't even know this happened on the Asian Tour. So
no, I did actually. I was about to say, but all people could talk about is Sergio missing it. Like, but they still go to the negative.
My apologies. I wasn't saying you. I was saying our listener. You didn't even know that happened on the Asian Tour. That's why you tuned into the show. Sergio lips out that putt, but then those top 3 get in, and then it starts up this conversation. Well, are they taking away spots from people who play? No. Let's not. If Liv has their little corner, let them have their little corner, but it's not going to last long because there's no legacy. They're not playing for anything. It really did peter out, and the fact that the PGA Tour and I'm not going to say representatives, the people leaking on behalf of the PGA Tour side of things are just saying we can't wrap our head around this team golf aspect. It's a bridge too far. I think it's also kind of an homage, a wink, wink. Who's that? Steve Cohen, owner of the New York Golf Club and the New York Mets. So, I mean, this is where it's at. Liv is dead. This is the new team golf. This is going to expand. They're going to keep tweaking this. I think next year you might even see a different green complex. They might get 2 seasons out of this. Who knows? Especially because this looks like it was a step up. But TGL's ascent is going to be very much mirrored by the Liv dying down, because the big money's gone from Liv. Yasser's not cutting any more, 9-figure checks for major win, because the experiment didn't work. It didn't pan out. We do want golf a certain way in a certain format. Now, it doesn't mean it's perfect. But right now things are kind of golden for the PGA Tour. You got the big names winning with Rory, with what happened with Rory at the Players, and then earlier this year at Pebble Beach. Scotty's still the world number 1. So and with the Creator Classic kind of, they're trying. I don't think that's the perfect mix yet. They're going to still tweak this thing.
That's going to take some time.
It was really cool at the Players because you saw like Big Daddy Trent out there, and it is all about the vibes, and it's about, having a good time. And then Brooks, and I'll bring it back to Brooksy. He said this week on a podcast as well, the country club kind of era of golf is over, which is hilarious because I think in his mind, I'm going to go ahead and be a mind reader for Brooks Koepka. In his mind, the Liv gang broke that mold and then has forced the PGA Tour to get a little more creative, pun intended, and, have a little more fun, do whatever they got to do, jack up the purses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, innovate. And I think Jay Moynihan was very smart this year at the State of the Union Golf, whatever address, to say, they basically sped up what we knew where we needed to go. And sometimes that's what it takes in life. It's not always the best way to get there, but hey, the spark was lit, and much to their own demise, all these Live golfers. And I love that Scotty even recently says, why are y'all even asking us anymore? Go ask them. You want it reunified. They're the ones who left. We're here. We've been here the whole time. Go talk to them. So it's over. It's done. These contracts are running out. They're not going to have any more big names going over. And I think we are going to see a true unification of the game, before the 28 Olympics.
Yeah, I would think so.
And out there.
No, I agree. And I think for the most part, we've reached a point where the majority, I'd say 90% of players on the PGA Tour are open to those guys coming back. We obviously know we have our Matthew Fitzpatricks out there that are, have their own views on it all and a little bit more conservative about that idea. But I think most people want it back. So, yeah, the PGA Tour, I think it's the right stance to sit there and say, yeah, come on back. We're here. Go talk to them. This 100% is just sped up. Like, these are changed. Like, I think that same with the TGL, Rory and Tiger were going to do something, because as we now see how this has played out for Tiger, he was very much aware of the twilight of his career. He was going to be looking for a way to stay part of it and relevant as far as being competitive in something. And So New York goes up 2-0. I see your face there because of a declined hammer.
So hammer declined.
So this was going to happen no matter what. But once again, I'm thinking it got sped up. Now, like we already referenced episodes ago about the collapse of the stadium was a good thing for it to be delayed by a year.
Shocking.
So I think it balanced out, but this was all going to happen the same way. Just I've said it before, the same way online pickup for stores because of COVID, it was going to happen in the next 5 years. It got sped up, and now it is the future and like the way forward for retail. Like this stuff is planned out 10 years in advance. Circumstances will often bump it up, but to sit there and say that for Liv to sit there and say that they created this change in golf is just so
we're the
like,
reason all this happened.
Ego centered about it. Like it's just so wrong. Like there's been talks about this stuff for years. It was just all going to be about the logistics of when the right time was to make it happen.
Oh, the whole idea of a simulator league or having these guys do this it's not a new idea, right? Now,
Right.
what I am looking forward to seeing is how and if I really think it's going to happen, but how and if the replication of these facilities. I'm looking at this thing that they built, and I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a Division I, because this is on a college campus, which means their golf program is probably going to use it for training, and they're probably going to rent it out. We've already seen a ton of the YouTube and the content creators getting their what the fuck are you drinking? And what are you? Is that a sniffer glass? Are you drinking?
I forget what this specific one is called. I believe this is too big to be a snifter glass, but
Oh, it is a. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there was a T in there. A snifter.
Snifter.
Snifter. Mr.
This is just my angel's envy. I got these glasses for Christmas, and this was the one that was at the front, and I grabbed it.
I think that qualifies as a snifter, Mr. Sophistication.
It is. It's just a big version of it. I think you're right.
But other college campuses are going to start looking at this, and maybe they look at their raggedy old basketball stadiums, and they start thinking, hey, maybe we can rebuild and have a multi-purpose indoor facility that also includes this. I mean, that's a real pie in the sky reach for it. Right. I do think that first we'll get one of these like in Vegas, Phoenix. We'll get them in the centers of golf. Or maybe not. I mean, maybe they just force everybody to come here. This is it. You want to come to TGL World, you got to come to us. But I could see this thing expanding. We got 6 teams now. I could see it growing to 10 within the next couple of years.
Yeah, I see us in Palm. I see us here for like 3 years probably.
Where would you like to see a TGL team, or where would you? I mean, where is a relative term. Like what community would you like to see represented with a TGL team?
I'm not
geography.
I think we got to get something more in the Midwest to get that like that Chicago area, like Detroit, something like that. It's got to be about fan base. Like it's got to come down to a fan base that doesn't mind another sport, if you want to say. Like they got to be a place that's willing to.
And Chicago is one of the original golf clubs of the USGA for you history buffs out there.
I totally
rich history in that area of golf. I can see Chicago is a great fan base. Yeah. Obviously, I already said Vegas because Vegas is just once gambling got legalized, Vegas was finally going to get that next injection that it needs. Once sports gambling got legalized, like all the way around.
I want to see them do like the big sphere version of a TGL facility. That'd be wild. You'd have people getting sick in there from motion sickness.
And then I bit the clickbait out there saying that there was going to be the Texas wedges a weeks back. It was somebody out there being like, wouldn't this be cool? And it was like Scotty and Jordan and Tom Kim. The giveaway should have been that Tom Kim was listed there when he's already on Jupiter Links. But hey, trades can happen. So I mean, Texas though, I think the DFW area with another one of those just golf rich. It's going to be either like you said, fan base areas like Chicago, or we already got LA, Seattle. I could see a Seattle team popping up just because it is a quote unquote big fan base. The other one's going to be golf areas, Phoenix, Scottsdale. So there's going to be one in Arizona. There's going to be one in Texas. And we already got Atlanta, so you got the Southeast covered. But I think
Colorado would be a good one. Denver would be a good spot for one, actually, too. I could see that.
That'd be true. With Wyndham Clark might have to get traded, homeboy from Colorado there. All right.
Yeah, I'd be more curious to see that when they do expand to some more facilities. I'd be curious to see how they make each facility have its own identity when it comes to this? Like, do they each have like make each one have their own
I
rotation
was
of
thinking about
digital
this earlier, the
holes?
short games. Yeah, the short
Yeah,
game area. That's going to be the
something
unique
to
of
make
it.
them all stand out, to give the home team a true kind of home team advantage. And I don't know, I find that aspect to be interesting of what that could be.
I don't think, and here's the thing, as you were talking about it, it's not, the next facilities aren't going to be necessarily, obviously Jupiter Links kind of has this is their home field, but it's everybody's
Right.
home field. So even when the next one pops up, it's probably going to be like Vegas or Phoenix. I would like to see it a little bit different, with the green. I would see, but as far as like it being anybody's home turf, I don't know. I think that's tough because like we go back to this whole thing's like virtual fandom. It's almost, it's weird.
Yeah.
So
but we are more of like a PJ score rotation where there's just these, quote unquote courses in different locations that they just go to, given on schedule kind of thing. It's not a home based thing kind of. Okay.
I would like to see maybe like mystery holes. Let's stop, like instead of announcing, I know they have to get the hype up now and like, hey, this is cool. You want to look at this.
But we've seen the same holes every week.
Exactly. Maybe all they get to know is whether it's a 3, 4, or 5. That's it, and it's just blind. And then it's like a little wheel, little roulette wheel or bingo thing.
Oh, there we go. Bring YouTube
New
golf
York
into
up
that. That's how they do it.
I want New York to win this just because selfishly, I would like to be watching golf as I fall asleep this evening. There's nothing 100%. Better than watching golf. I want to be
laying in bed trying to keep my eyes open watching it, because that's
why everybody wants to know what we're doing in bed. The last thing on the TGL here is I think about the development of esports and how big that is. And if you want to poo-poo people watching others play video games, the definition of sport is basically just that: people watching others have fun and entertain, and it's a little bit of an escape. So I guess anything can be a sport, or at least a spectator sport. And we saw that. If you've never seen some of these e-gaming championships, 16,000 people in these arenas, these basketball arenas, watching on the jumbotrons and doing all that kind of shit. Also, if you haven't seen, I spent a lot of time on the internet, Andrew. If you haven't seen drone racing, like the little
it's wild.
That shit is
crazy.
Wild. These guys with goggles on, and I'm thinking to myself, basically they're failed drone pilots from the military, or they're just basement nerds who never left, and God bless them, now they're playing for $1 million with their RC drones. Speaking of RC, have you ever seen Tyler Perry? You know who Tyler Perry is?
Yeah.
Okay. Medea, the whole bit. And I think people, if you think that Tyler Perry is limited to that, look him up. He has a private RC airport on his compound in Atlanta. You should look it up, dead ass. He has these giant replica planes, like 747s and everything, and he flies them, and they're huge, and it's wild. He has a whole like mechanic team there that works on them, but that's his like little thing. Medea likes to fly planes.
That's some fun FU money.
TGL, are they going for a break? Where is
I think that was after 9, so I think
after 9. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it's New York's up 2
going
singles. Into the singles. Yeah.
So New York up 2 going into singles. I like their chances.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I also just the fact that they lost last night after the way they've been playing, that was almost a surprise in itself. So like I definitely expected them to come out swinging. Like I said, this easily could have been like 5-2 right now, New York, but just because of the way the putting's gone, we got ourselves another match coming down in these singles. This is going to be enjoyable. Like I said, I do selfishly want to see another match here at 9, but they're breaking from TGL. Let's break from TGL. Let's move on, because there was a bunch of stuff going on in golf. We had the Valspar Championship this weekend.
I was going to say, your turn for a segue. I had one that I was going to build upon match, but you go first.
Oh, well, I don't want to disrupt the flow, sir.
Well, this is a quick pop in too, because we're not going to spend much time here. Because I was going to say, speaking of matches, in case you missed yesterday, love is in the air, and Tiger Woods made it official. He has found his current match, which is hilariously enough, Donald Trump Jr.'s ex-wife. I think her name is Vanessa, who is also the mother of
that's right,
Kai Trump. And if you look up Kai Trump, Kai is Donnie's granddaughter, and she's also just got signed to TaylorMade. Her and Charlie Woods just played in the Sage Valley Invitational, which is one of the biggest junior invitations. It's like the Masters of, they have the future Masters. Maybe would take umbrage with that, but it is a major in the junior universe. They both played okay. It was won by
I didn't see the results.
Miles Russell, lefty, phenom. Sure. He won, but there you have it. Tiger on the rebound with one question on this. Will Tiger Woods ever run for political office?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think he has any desire or heart for that at all. Patience,
I could see it.
whatever.
I could see him, and I could see him being a grumbly old man in his 70s and doing it.
Oh, see, I couldn't, because I think there's probably still stuff we don't know about Tiger that he'd rather not come out.
Donald Trump is the president for the second time in the last 12 years. Do you think anybody's got skeletons in their closet that's going to keep them from
that's a man that doesn't care. No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I thought you were talking about bowing. I thought you were talking about bowing to external pressure. What you're talking about is having self-respect and pride. Oh, totally.
Right. Yeah. I just think Tiger wants to keep those things. Donald doesn't care. He doesn't care if that stuff out.
Dude, totally.
He's dressing those skeletons and putting them on his front porch. That's what he's doing.
But ironically enough, T. Gray was up in the Oval with Adam Scott and Jay, and they were talking to Donnie about Yasser and the whole bit. And it is going to intrigue me how this shakes out, because people think that the president is in the live camp because they play at his clubs, and he's been asked about it. He's like, no, live's garbage. That's not golf. And they're like,
he saw a business opportunity.
He signed a contract. Yeah.
Right.
You want to come
Don't
here?
we know that's how this man operates? It's not the country. It's all business opportunity.
You want to come kiss my ass and play my golf course? Go for it. So what do you think about our golf? Oh, it's shit.
Yeah.
You asked for it. All right. So there you have it, folks. Tiger. Does he take her? Well, did she go back to her last name? Hold on. Is she still Vanessa Trump?
No, I don't. I think she was Vanessa something else.
No, come on. Are you giving up that last name?
Some people might.
Fair, very fair. Very, very fair. Vanessa. No, she's still a Trump. So there you go. Could be Tiger Trump.
Oh no, he's
I'm joking. The guy's worth $1 billion. Tiger Woods is worth $1 billion, and that's after his first divorce.
Right. That's
okay. All right. So Tiger, she kind of looks like Vanessa Trump, and I'm looking at the photos on the Googler there.
Yes.
She kind of looks a little bit like Lindsey Vonn, who I want to give a quick side shout out pivot. Lindsey Vonn. If you don't know who Lindsey Vonn is, downhill skier, fucking legend. I know Michaela Schifrin is the current GOAT, and she's the flavor of the moment because she's up and she's still doing it. But Lindsey Vonn, here's to you. She, at her age, just hit the podium, and I don't mean to be disrespectful about it. It's that's been the headline all week. She's 40 years old. And in downhill skiing, she just hit the podium on the World Cup stage. So, but that just struck me that Vanessa Trump and Lindsey Vonn kind of look like one another. And you know why I'm bringing this up? You know who else used to date Tiger Woods? Lindsey Vonn. Back to you in the studio.
You're just the professional you are. It's unbelievable sometimes. Let's get into the Valspar Championship.
Let's talk about the paint
because Innisbrook lived up to,
the snake bit back, the snake pit bit back.
The snake pit bit back, and the players attempted to bite back, and I think that was the story because like we've seen players get angry on the course, and like we've seen it before, but there was 3 instances that we're not really used to seeing the way there was. At least that I'm going to focus on 3 of them that were outrageous in their own way. So one, Sahith Theegala, because of who Sahith Theegala is, we see him as this kind of composed guy. We know he has an emotional side, but when he's playing, we tend to see him under control. And after a mishit off the tee, just full on frisbees his club. He didn't hit the crowd, but it was in the direction of the crowd. And just absolutely lets that thing fly. Like I know we've all done on a course before. Are you just seeing the video for the first time?
Not of his, of the third.
Oh, okay.
You said 3, and I couldn't remember what the third was. But yeah, go ahead about your boy Sahith.
So that's I think I said Sahith. Yeah, Sahith. So he sends the club flying.
He had good form on that too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he had great throwing form. Then we had Adam Hadwin, who finds, this is now 2 years in a row, he's found a unique way to get into our TVs, because last year obviously getting tackled at the Canadian Open
that was the best,
was fantastic. But this past weekend he slams his club in a fit of rage down on the ground, and without looking first smashes a sprinkler head and sets off a fire hydrant like explosion of water. So that happened. And then Justin Lauer after a bunker shot gone awry, straight up just snaps his club over his leg.
That's the one. I didn't know about that.
You didn't see that one yet? Look that one up. He just straight up snaps his wedge right over his leg, or he might have stepped on it and snapped. I can't actually remember which way it was, but just I can't remember a tournament where we've had multiple instances of this type of reaction to a shot on the PGA Tour. Like, can you think of another place that has done this to players to where they are visibly maybe what was it oh god, Aaron Hills, that U.S. Open that was outrageous a few years back.
Shinnecock too. Shinnecock where it was all burnt out.
Yeah, so that's what I found striking was the lack of composure this weekend. But it was great golf. I'm kind of fine with the players getting pissed off and feeling the stress because it was a great golf course this weekend.
I wish I could disagree with you, but I agree. I don't give a shit that they're showing their emotion. I don't think this is actually hidden, though. I think that, okay, the breaking of the clubs, the tossing of the clubs, I think that actually happens more often than we know. I think that, honestly, producers are starting to understand what the people want. We want to see that. And due respect to the players and due respect to Mr. Colin Morikawa, you do owe us that. We're paying your fucking salary. So if you're going to sack up and put it out there, then we're going to sit there and eat on it. So I think they're just showing us a little bit more. You are right that the volume in one place and the sprinkler thing with Adam Hadwin, I think that's what really sets it apart is that he slams his club head down, breaks his sprinkler. Jessica, his wife, phenomenal Twitter follow, X follow, whatever you want to call it. All she did was retweet something from Scratch Golf, and it was kind of just, it says on the 10th hole, it appears Adam was in the vicinity of some sort of sprinkler malfunction, and it was a video of him. I love his wife with all my heart. I've never met her. She's hilarious.
I love
then
that.
there was another one that I don't know, and I got to double check. I don't want to.
Another instance or another tweet?
Yes.
Oh.
I want to see if this was the Valspar Championship.
I could only fit three on the thumbnail. So
Patton Kazire.
Did you see what I didn't hear about Patton Kazire? No.
Punted his putter, and to the point where like he kicked it right in the middle of the shaft and sent this fucking thing to the point where there's a great still shot of him if you can find it with his leg extended up, and he looks like a punter from the NFL. So yeah, I
gotta have to find that then.
The boys were a little pissy out there, and anybody who is clutching their pearls. Now there is a balance. I don't think we want to let everybody just go ham and cheese, and then it just turns into not fun. You know how like there's the you're out back shooting beer bottles, and then somebody just lights a truck on fire, and you're like, what? Yeah, that way. I mean, that's where we don't want to get to, but letting these guys, and I think this is what I was talking about the other day. I want to channel with nothing but their fuck ups and their
this would have been a perfect week for that.
A perfect week for it. So, it was tough look out there for the gang. The eventual champ, Viktor Hovland.
Yeah, let's talk Viktor.
Miscut. Cut. Oh my God, I'm gonna give up golf. I've had 12 teachers in the last 2 years. I don't know this. Win.
But even in this win, his comments after were that basically he was in a nutshell saying he doesn't really know how he won because most of the shots he would hit, look up expecting to see it going through one window and it's going through a completely different way. Like on the PGA Tour, how do you still win like that?
I think the comments he made was that basically you're right. They weren't going through these certain windows. They weren't going where he thought he wanted them to go, but I guess they were ending up where they needed to be or something along those lines.
Just like silly.
He's like, and somehow they were still going where they needed to go. And it's like, you're right. He fell ass backwards into a win, and poor JT, Justin Thomas, he's got a 3-stroke lead with 3 holes for him to play. You know, Viktor still had some time out there, but the snake pit, 16, 17, 18, some of the toughest finishing holes on tour. And this week proved it. And Viktor goes in there on Sunday with his sack hanging out and goes 2 under, and just absolutely walks, drags it through there and says, "Thank you very much." JT up here trying to snag a TGL crown as a consolation prize. But I think that just goes to show the cliches are true that on any given week out of 70, 80, 140 guys, somebody's going to catch lightning in a bottle. I think what for us is catching us off guard a little bit, and that's 2 catches in one sentence. Got to get away from that. Is the person catching lightning in a bottle is somebody who it's like, but wait a minute, you're Zeus. You're supposed to be able to control the lightning. You're Viktor Hovland, U.S. amateur champion, Ryder Cup All-Star. You've won the FedEx Cup. And I think he's going through a mental thing because if he's
totally mental.
Yeah, he's changing swing coaches every 2 seconds.
He had an injury last year too at one point though, didn't he? He's like, I think that was part of last year, but the current state is that I think it's all mental at this point.
Yeah, and who knows? Look out. I mean, maybe he goes into Augusta and snags a win. I think it's pretty cool this week out of the Texas Children's that they got Scotty and Rory in the field, so there's some big names. Mm-hmm. And the PGA Tour's plan is kind of coming together here. And as we hit the bottom of the hour, one more shout out to Acorn Hills and our boy Nate over there, acornhillsco.com, here at the New England Camp Conference. We're 30 minutes and 55 seconds. And then the first mention of camp. I'm here in Manchester at the New England Camp Conference, and Nate sent us a big
15 minutes from me.
He sent a big bundle of gear for us to put in our raffle. We do an annual raffle for a scholarship fund that we have. And so he put a bunch of gear in there, and I'm of course walking around with my stuff all week and people are checking it out. So head on over to acornhillsco.com, TBFY15 for 15% off. Tell my boy Nate we sent you. Yeah, Victor just kind of stumbling ass backwards into this win shows us that, and then having Rory and Scotty playing in Texas this week, and then naturally you're probably gonna have somebody like Akshay, the following week, some of these bigger emerging names. But because they can't take a ton of time off, they can't take all 3 weeks or 4 weeks between the players and the Masters off. They're going to have to play in some of these John Deere Classics, which, no disrespect to the Texas Children's Hospital, Houston Greater Wider Open, whatever the fuck we're calling these tournaments.
I want us to make a shirt that literally just says John Deere Classic on it, and then underneath it, no disrespect. It's just what we always say.
No disrespect. Texas Children's Houston Open. You have Joel Dahman. Who else is out there? Doug.
Xander's there this week. Denny McCarthy.
Wyndham Clark. Did I see Wyndham Clark there? Yeah, Wyndham Clark. So this is a
pretty loaded field this week.
Yeah, it's a solid field. This is not a signature event.
JT's there. Cantley's there. Matsuyama, Tommy Fleetwood, Sung Jae. Everyone's there this week. So Speed is there because it's Texas.
Take a few steps back and see how things are going. TGL's got our attention. Stars are shining at the right time on the right venues for the PGA Tour right now. And is anybody griping about numbers 71 or 125 or 156? The guys who get left out? No.
Nope. No one's noticing.
That was the bit. That was the big. Yeah, no disrespect. Nobody's gonna miss them. I miss them, and they work hard, and these are pros, and they'll work hard to get back where they need to be. But everybody who bitched and moaned about the shrinking of the field sizes and the shifting of the schedule and the calendar, I still think they need to figure out the end of the schedule, the end of the calendar, how they're going to bridge that gap between the FedEx Cup playoffs and the Ryder Cup. But we got the Players in March, Augusta in April, PGA in May, U.S. Open in June, Open Championship July, FedEx Cup playoffs, wash, rinse, repeat. And they've got this thing honed down to a pretty solid 6-month run. And there's no looking back at this point. I think that now it's just if the Saudis and Mr. Yasser want to cut a check, we'll take your money. But Liv can pound sand because they do have everything heading in the right direction, and they are starting to fill in some of the gaps. They got to figure out what to do in the shoulder season. Maybe that's an opportunity for some live interaction. And I've been saying that for years now, that if you want to take that and make that your fall game, maybe. But John Rahm and those guys are not. I got to know if John Rahm is genuinely happy with his decision.
I know it feels forced.
How long until he's hitting the podcast circuit the way Brooksy is and Bryson's been doing? Maybe he doesn't care, though. That maybe we're overestimating it, too, because he could say, I have more money than I or anybody in my family for the next 5-6 generations will ever need. Right. And so I'm just going to live with my big-ass Spanish family wherever the fuck I want between Arizona and Spain for the rest of my life. But
Joaquin Neiman's someone who's playing like he wants to get back.
Well, he's playing really good golf.
He's for 2 years now. He's been playing fantastic golf over there and on the DP World. Like anywhere he can play, he's been playing. He's been playing well. Like, I feel like he's someone who is trying to make his way back.
He's
trying to stay fresh.
He's Taylor Gooch without the gooch. He's playing really solid golf, and he wants to go play against the best of the best of the best. I think the difference that is going to happen here, or the difference is, he knows that he's not playing against these full strength fields, but he could be. I don't think Rory is losing sleep because Joaquin Niemann wasn't in the field for the players. I don't think in a couple of years we're going to have asterisks and it's like, yeah, you know what, but Brooksy and Bryson weren't there. Because if you really do, again, truth gun to your head, who from Live really, when they come back, is going to move the needle a lot besides Brooks and Bryson?
It's really just them. Other than that,
John Rahm would, but he's not coming back.
So Rahm would because, well, yeah, and if he was, it's not anytime soon because he just left. But yeah, it really is just those two guys. Everyone else would kind of probably just kind of fall right back into their original kind of role, but with slightly less hype around them. I'd say,
yeah,
like
Patrick Reed, even Phil Mickelson, Cam Smith.
It would be a footnote. It would be like one of those, like you say, the headline would be Bryson and Brooks come back to the PGA along with, and then a list of other guys. And the reason we don't give a shit is because, oh, here's a shocker. I was right all along. The bench is deep over here on the PGA Tour. This is a behemoth. They tried to cherry pick 60 guys and think that they were going to, be disruptors. Mm-hmm. We said it at the top of the show. Yes, they were disruptors. Not really, I think, in the way that they were hoping to be. I think they were, let me rephrase that. I think they thought they were going to be competitors, and they ended up being just disruptors. You know what I mean? It wasn't this, they never stood a chance. Let me rephrase that. I enjoyed Live. I enjoyed going out to it. But the whole time we kept on saying, because it feels like a tailgate, it feels like a party, it feels like a family event. It didn't feel like a PGA Tour or even a championship tour caliber golf tournament. Instead, it kind of felt like had a pro-am vibe without the amp. Yeah, pretty much. And something I just thought of, and I could be way off here, is that, and this is a slight out of left field, is that, do you think the part of the cutting on the PGA side, cutting down to like the 125 that we just talked about and whatnot, do you think that was almost like a pre-negotiating concession to Live, to be like, let's figure this out here. We're going to shorten our field so that maybe some of these fringe guys do come your way. Like maybe we keep you alive by some of these fringe guys coming and building up through you kind of sense. Like a little olive branch. Let's weaken our bench a little bit to help boost your base a little bit. No, not even close. I think that, I know what you're talking about, but I think that the shrinking of the field size had just one thing and one thing only. It was economics. It was, we have top tier talent who we've set the market for. Watch what's going to happen to the NBA in the next few years when they just signed a 10-year deal with the NBA, right? They just renewed those media rights. It was all everywhere. Mm-hmm. TNT was going to do this. Now they're back, and they're Chuck and Shaq and shut the hell up. They, shut up, Kenny. They're all, they got their show and everything. But even Charles Barkley was talking about it the other day. It's terrible, dude. The money's going to run out. They're not going to be able to generate this because not everybody's consuming basketball like that. Adam Silver's going, our numbers look great. Our numbers look great, because he is taking more into account the online engagement. But that doesn't then, has anybody figured out how that directly translates to these massively bloated contracts that we've got? And golf had the same thing. Rory said it. We're not giving them a different product, but we're asking them for more money. And so by shrinking these fields and creating an environment where you can guarantee at certain tournaments what it's going to look like, all right, let's do that instead of just rolling the dice and hoping. Instead of hoping, 25 or 40 of these real top tier guys show up every week consistently. Let's just make sure that 8 or 9 times a year, the top 80 are going to be there, period, and just roll with that. Yeah, because we saw the viewership of the players was fantastic. Like 8 or 9 tournaments, if the viewership is like above average because of that type of field, then the media rights are gonna, all the media outlets, they're gonna hit their contract, expected profit out of the contract. It's gonna be okay. It's 3-0 now. I see you looking at the TV. 3-0 New York now on hole 11. The key here though is that Atlanta still has all 3 hammers left.
Wouldn't that be something? Just go hammer, 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 and take the home of the championship.
It'd be fantastic.
And also how we're consuming stuff. We've talked about this on the show before. How we consume our product has changed. We're used to staring at our iPhone or our tablet for hours and hours. I mean, I watched, you know, how many shows and movies I've watched on my iPhone just because the only time I really have time to watch them is on planes. Like The Irishman, the movie, that Scorsese movie from Netflix. I watched that on my phone.
It's a long one to watch on your phone.
Hell, it was a long flight. And so chopping it up into different ways to consume is going to be important. But really the future being YouTube golf. And I love this whole, we kind of have a definition for what YouTube golf is. And YouTube golf is just non-tour level professional golf, people who make a living playing golf and but not in a competitive necessarily format. It's Joe shit the rag man and, 3 versus 1, three Joes versus a pro, whatever you want to do.
It's like club championship golf. That's what it's.
Sure.
They're just out there competing for whatever they think is valuable.
And it doesn't even have to be good golf. You look at Trent again, Big Daddy from Barstool. How many million people watched that Creator Classic or whatever it was? And why? Because he's endearing and he's entertaining and he's got an audience elsewhere. So,
and people to your point about wanting a feed of the mess ups, people sometimes want to see bad golf.
That's it. It is true. It's almost in a weird way. There's people who like bad karaoke. Stop.
I enjoy it. I enjoy trying to see how straight of a face I can keep.
That's funny.
Yeah, because it's like a game. It's like a challenge. And then I like looking around the bar at the other people who are feeling the same way as me, and basically at that point trying to make each other laugh. Because I'm a weird, awkward individual when it comes to strangers at the bar, and I'd like to
keep going with that thought.
Just have interactions.
Jesus, your fiance know about this?
Oh yeah, she's with me, laughing it up with me. Funny story. I put this on Twitter the other week. And he took his headphones off for the story, so he's not even gonna hear it. I think he would laugh at this too. I put this on Twitter the other week. We were at one of our normal spots sitting there, and we're just hanging out, having a beer, and this other couple turns to us and starts talking to us. And that happens all the time. We always sit and talk to other couples, and this is a story that's right up your alley, by the way. So I mean, you walked away.
Needed a beverage.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so like we're sitting at one of our normal places, and we're sitting next to this couple at the bar, and this girl leans over and starts talking to Anna. And then like we get into we're talking about each other's like our dog and their dog and whatnot. And then we mentioned how, we're getting married and there's 5 kids between us. And all of a sudden, like almost like it was a quick like, oh, wow. And then like a complete back turn to us. And the couple started talking to another couple, and we just looked at each other and went, I think we just got dumped. And it slowly became apparent to us that I think this other couple were swingers, and they were trying to pick another couple up, and they realized we weren't it. and they just moved on to another couple, because next thing I know, they're talking to this other couple, and they're like handsy with them. They're switching seats, and me and Anna looking at each other, which I want to make this clear. We would never have like accepted this invitation or done anything, but we look at each other and we were like, kind of hurt.
Yeah, you're a little pissed off.
A little disappointed.
Offended. I mean, we weren't going to come home with you anyway, but
yeah. So yeah,
that's
just funny. You
just
mentioned
that a similar thing happened to my wife and I when we moved into our apartment in Salem, Massachusetts. Our neighbors invited us over, early on, just like, hey, welcome. And they started asking us certain questions, and it got a little weird, a little quick, and we exited the premises.
Smart.
Quick, another detour for you. If you've been paying attention to the show, you know that Boudreaux has been going through a little bit of a dental episode recently. I did have my root canal finished yesterday. Shout out once again to Dr. Kai and the team at Next Gen Endodontics. Endodontics, is that what whatever. They were awesome. Again, had the whole numbing thing, but this was the most fascinating thing at the very end of the root canal. But before I get there, there's a long history of dentistry and golf. I'm not going to say most recently because I'm about to tell you all about it. There's written by all about it. I mean, the 2 things that I was going to bring up about dentistry and golf, 3, if you include what I've learned recently. The first one being Carrie Middlecoff, the former Masters champion. He was in the U.S. Army. He won the Masters in 55, U.S. Open champ in 49 and 56. He was actually a dentist until he was 26. He went to dental school. He was in the dental corps in the Army, and then he gave that up to be a tour professional and win the Masters. So there you go, Kerry Middlecoff. Also, the inventor of the golf tee was a dentist. And what was his name? It was George, where are we? I have your snifter glass. George Grant. Dr. George Grant in 1899 was the inventor of the modern golf tee. So there's two of your dentist and golf intersections. Here's the third.
There's a third.
There's definitely a third. All good things, all good things come in threes, and bad things, by the way, come in threes as well. Careful.
Yes, they do.
I had a root canal, in case you haven't been paying attention. And back in the day, I learned, I asked questions. And I guess back in the day, they drill and they yank your nerve out or whatever, the roots, hence the root canal. And then they used to fill it with metal. Like, I didn't know this. They used to shove metal down in there. You knew this?
So I've heard of it before. Yeah, I don't know what kind of
savages.
metal, but I do remember. Yes,
I will literally mail you $100 bill. I don't know. That's about all I can afford right now, and pay for your next round of golf if you can tell me what instead of metal they put in my mouth this time. And if you say cock, I'm getting off. What did they put in my?
I wasn't going to, but now I really want to.
It's just funny. And I kind of wanted to say cock to see your reaction. Norm Macdonald, I love how he cock. Yeah, how he used to say it.
Yeah.
You know what they put in after they fill a root canal?
So silicone.
No, it's called gutta percha, which is actually what they used to make. Gutta percha. And gutta percha.
It sounds like some sort of like Southern phrase said too fast.
Gutta percha is a natural resin-like material that's used in dentistry to fill root canals. But about 100 years ago, it was used to make golf balls. In the evolution of the golf ball, there was like the feathery, which was leather pouches shoved with feathers super, super tight until it was like a hard rock. And then after that, there was the gutta percha phase, which was this like resin type material that they would mold into a ball and hit that out. There you have it.
Interesting. I was really curious how that was going to come around back to golf, because I won't lie, the first two examples, they were very loosely golf and dental related. It was very much like
Kerry Middlecoff was a dentist, and then he went on to win the Masters, and then the dentist invented the golf
tee. But they were like
tee.
completely separate. Like the dentist creates the golf tee. That's like a hobby. He created a golf tee in his spare time.
Hobby.
And then like he switched professions from dental. So whatever. But okay, but the last one that made up for it, because that is so they now put basically golf balls in your teeth.
Balls in
your
mouth.
Golf balls.
It's a tree. It's from a tree. It's just a resin. But yeah, 100 years ago they made golf balls out of it. What else we got on the docket?
Well, what else we got on the docket is that
did New York win?
They're still playing, but they were up 3-0 last I saw. We'll get a score update here in a second. As they come back from Porch. 3-1 now, Atlanta scored. So 3-1 going into hole 13. So they could go into the last three. So this past week was my son's birthday. He turned 6 years old. And I got him his first pair of clubs. Simple junior set, precise, comes with the driver, the hybrid, a wedge, an iron, and a putter. But one of the most joyful things I've done as a father to a son. It was fantastic to see how excited he was. He didn't put it down all weekend. Wanted to be outside. Luckily, it was a nice weekend. He wanted to be outside all weekend, just swinging the club and learning how to do it. He did say to me on Sunday when we were finished up for the day before we went in for the day, he said to me, "Oh, I think I'm done learning. I'm good now." I just kept telling him, I said, "Oh, buddy," I said, "this game's got a lot to teach you." And the fact that you just said that right there just proves that you got a lot to learn. But hey, I was like, you know what? I'm going to let him be confident for now, because I'll tell you what, he did pretty good. He took the instruction, the basic instruction good. He's interested in learning about what the different parts of the club are. Like, his most excited thing he's excited for is riding in the golf cart later this summer. So it was just a fun, proud moment for me with my son to
having a little connection in the game.
And then I had 4 of the 5 kids out there on Sunday morning as well. All because it was a little bit colder Sunday morning, dressed up in their winter jackets, winter gloves, and hats. swinging the clubs. So that was, I think we got a little golfer family starting.
I know you sent me the pictures and the videos, and it looks like it warms my heart. Cooper Rose is in a hockey moment right now, but the weather's about to change, so
Right.
we'll get her out back swinging the club. Let's see, 3-1 still.
3-1. They Xander just teed off hole 13. So then Atlanta still has 2 hammers. So that must be how they got their 1 point. New York must have declined a hammer. But technically Atlanta can just keep throwing the hammer. New York can keep declining, and we go into overtime.
And if they accept it and they lose, that's 2 points. Yeah, I mean,
right now New York does still have 1 hammer of their own. So technically, we could even have a situation where Atlanta throws, New York counters with their own throw, and all of a sudden the hole's worth 3 points. That scenario is open right now.
I know we kind of dogged it a little bit, the hammer being a yellow hanky, when this whole thing started.
It's working.
I mean, personally, I thought it should have just been a yellow dildo, but or black, double-sided. You want to call it the hammer, but it just dawned on me when I saw these dudes sitting there waving it around and everything.
Right.
We're used to seeing it from football. You're used to seeing a yellow handkerchief. It's weird because it's getting celebrated in this context, but it works. You throw it the same, like the whole.
Well, now it's become this thing where the crowd is just cheering.
That's all they want.
Hammer after every single shot, when it doesn't even. They could have no hammers left, and they're just chanting hammer over and over. Xander put it in the bunker on his second shot, and there we go. JT's throwing the hammer
right on cue
before his approach shot. And let's see what they do. I will say this is
good strategy.
They might want to accept this hammer though, because Xander's not completely out of play with that bunker. It's a small bunker. He's in a flat lie, green side. Like he's got.
This is so smart.
It's workable for him,
and it's so smart by Atlanta because
it is.
I mean, honestly, if Xander takes his hammer and wins, right? Declined. Wow, because
so it's just going to be 3-2 now.
But they could have shut him down. I mean, he wins that hole. It's 5-1 with 2 holes left or whatever. But I guess you live to fight another day, because for JT it's a win-win there. Yeah, whatever. You're gonna close this out. We're up 1-0 anyways in the series.
Throw them on every single one of these holes at one point or another. And best case scenario.
So they figured it out. Time's thrown. They've thrown the hammer the most in singles play, and they've won the most points on the hammer. There you go.
100% saved all
ATL hammer country. Please, hammer, don't hurt them.
Yeah, the hammer's worked out, and what I've also noticed is the hammer has. I don't know if you've noticed this about the broadcast. When they first started the TGL, they were starting promptly at 7, and they even mixed in like a 15-minute intermission between holes 6 and 7, which I thought was silly. I'm glad they got rid of that. But they've realized that the pace of play is not a full 2 hours. They don't need the full 2-hour window for actual play. The change to the hammer rules sped it up even faster. So now we get the situation where the broadcast starts at 7, play doesn't actually tee off until like 7:15. And I'd rather it be that. I'd rather it be front ended with that 15 minutes than what they were doing at the very beginning of the season, where they mixed that 15-minute break into the random 6-7 hole for some reason. Because I thought that was awful. I thought that was going to be a terrible mistake. But this is so much. I'd much rather just have it front loaded, because now I can go into it saying, okay, I'm going to turn it on at 7, but then I can finish the dishes. I can grab a drink, grab something to eat, and like I now have some buffer time to sit down and get ready for this. They're just doing it right. Once again, they're just doing it right. They've created a watchable product. That's what they've done. They've created a watchable product in a watchable, venue, in a way that attracts celebrities. And like it's the perfect just mixture that there's always going to be someone in the crowd for them to pan to. Hell, they pan to Ninja. The gamer is there, the streamer.
No shit. This is like I was telling you, the integration of electronics, the gaming and sports, and I can't wait for the live betting to kind of get stepped up a little bit. Billy Ho can't believe that ball.
So they've started. I don't know if you've noticed that, but they're not doing like head to heads, huh?
I haven't noticed it yet, but can you place bets on just like the overall?
So I think you can place bets on the overall, like just win. You can't place bets on who's going to win individual holes. But what you can do for individual holes is they have designated holes for closest to the pin and longest drive that I believe you can bet on.
Interesting.
So, but I'm kind of fine with that. I think that's a nice way to kind of slowly get into it until they figure out the intricacies. Oh, so one went long, one went short, right? Right. Obviously, Ricky just went short, and I think Billy. Oh no, Ho's on the green.
Billy didn't go long. He's just mad that it didn't spin back and get the ridge.
Right. I thought
Ricky
Billy Ho
just
went
short-sighted himself.
He didn't even like chunk that too much. I think.
Oh no, he missed it by 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
He just caught that hill.
By the way, this is the beauty of TGL right here. We're watching golf, competitive golf live, you and I, and in the last minute and a half, we've seen 3 shots.
Right.
Like, it keeps the game moving.
And JT just threw the hammer, of course.
Yeah,
why not?
predictably. Look at Art.
And honestly, they're going to decline this again. We're going to go to overtime. Well, no, because we got 1 hole left, but
Ricky's not going to let that happen.
But they're gonna accept this out of the bunker. Look how little room he has to work with that shot out of the bunker. He's got about 2 feet to the hole. They gotta decline this.
And then what? It's gonna be a tie ball game going into the 14th,
going into the 15th, the last hole.
They're on 14th. Sorry.
Yeah. So the last hole is gonna be Cantlay versus because JT. It's JT, I think. Or did JT?
No, JT and Cantlay are on the same team.
Oh, yeah. That's my bad. No, what's the
Cam Young? Yeah, we just saw Xander.
Young. It's gonna be Cam Young and Cantlay. Yes, sorry.
It's the fucking most vanilla, boring pairing I've ever heard in my life. Cam Young and Patrick Cantlay. I mean, it's impressive. Have you ever seen the video of Cam Young where whoever's interviewing him from Golf Podcast, Fill in the Blank magazine is damn, they accept the hammer. Ooh. I told you, Ricky pulled the flag. He's thinking about dunking this.
Well,
or is he going to try to bring it off that ridge?
Oh, maybe there is a ridge back there. That's right.
All right.
I mean,
you have to though. You have to make him make it because a tie is a push. It's not like it's a big deal.
Yeah, a tie is a push. So he's gonna, and now this takes all the hammers out of Atlanta's hands. So that's right, because you know what Marshall's putt is downhill.
Downhill, yeah. I was going to say he's got that sick little ridge that he's coming over.
Yeah, so that's true. You know, I forgot about that. He's up on top of that ridge, and I thought he was a little. Yeah, so you know what, this might work out. I mean, it's still going in. It's still only a 1-shot lead going into that final hole.
While Billy lines it up, or no, he's in it. He steps into it.
Yeah, he ain't fucking around. Here it comes.
And
it turned a little. Oh no, it's coming back.
They just.
Oh my god, he hit it.
Wins.
Let's fucking go.
The whole. Wins.
Maybe the championship. He's got
they're one up with 1 to play.
What a fucking putt that
Billy
was.
Ho.
What a putt. 2 nights in a row, Billy Ho comes through on these TGL greens. These TGL greens are not easy either. That's fantastic.
And I love that. You see Ricky and who's that coming over, kind of patting him on the back, being like, "Hey, nice putt. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about."
I want more of the camera angle that it showed us live there, where the ball's literally coming right at us. I would love more of those camera angles on tour.
They call that the worm cam.
Yeah, because that's just fantastic. Like, because it looked like, you heard me. It looked like it was turning the other way, and then it just turned back, and that suspense of that was fantastic. Like, how can you? I'm sorry, but like, Liv just does not give you that.
No,
like,
I love seeing Matt Fitzpatrick slunk down in his chair.
Is he injured? He didn't play last night or tonight.
Yeah, he hasn't. He's been. I think he's Matt.
Not that I think he's necessarily been good at this TGL thing, but
no, I think he's just the odd man out.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if there was something up that we were missing there.
No, but speaking of British golf, in the UK, a central London county court has ordered that Royal Mid Surrey Golf Club reinstate Rina Rohila, a member expelled in 2019 over alleged cheating. The court found that the club's investigation was biased and lacked evidence of wrongdoing by Rohila. Judge Andrew Holmes described Rohila as an honest witness and criticized the club's procedural shortcomings, awarding £1,000 in compensation for emotional distress. There's your golf news from across the pond.
Where do you up with this shit?
You said that I saw Matty Fitzpatrick sitting there all pouty face, and I was like, wait a minute. I remember just seeing a fucking weird story from the UK involving golf. Land this plane.
Yeah, let's land this because we'll see. We'll go over, turn on ESPN right now for the final hole if you're not already watching TGL, because it's going to come down to that. We will be here next Tuesday as always, and if you well, I guess this doesn't make sense to say this. I was going to say if you didn't catch us tonight, you can listen to us tomorrow. But if you want to listen to us again, Spotify, all your favorite podcast channels, get over there 8 a.m. tomorrow. You can hear that. Thank you, Golfer Gang Network. Thank you, That Sports Podcast Network. We love you all. Stay classy. And let's go New York because I want one more match. Later.